Good morning, legends. What a pleasure to be with you once more in this espresso shot. So today is, if I am correct, the 26th of March 2018. It is our 11th episode in the espresso shots, and it's also a very special week because some of the legends will also be leaving us this week as they are moving on to the next phase of their journey in building their successful coaching practice. So today, what I wanted to share with you is something that we discussed a number of months ago, and it's become something that I wanted to share with you once more, because it's quite important to ask those questions when they are what would guide the conversation with our clients best. Hey, Carolyn, lovely to have you with me this morning. All right, cool. So remember in the audition, we once discussed that after the question 9, which is, are you prepared to invest time, money, or effort? In some circumstances, especially when the people seem really shaky or not confident with making decisions, we said that it would be nice to ask a couple of more questions. Good morning, Grace. Lovely to have you here. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to share with you questions 10 and 11, and I'm also then going to put a bit of context around why we would ask questions 10 and 11. Okay, so question 10 in the audition process. Oh, good morning, Judy. Lovely to have you here. Alrighty. So question 10. So once we've asked people in our audition the 9 questions, the 9th being, are you prepared to invest time, money, and effort into this process, or in trying to achieve your goal? Then we could, if they say, I might have to talk to my husband or my wife or somebody, or if you feel that this is an objection that may come on because they told you that they struggle to make decisions on their own, or they're not confident in making decisions on their own, you could ask them this question, which would be question number 10. Who else needs to be involved in this? It could also be a question that you ask when you have heard that the gap between where they are and where they want to be has to do with another person, like in a relationship. It could be a work challenge. It could be something that has to involve another human. And you've picked up on that through the first 9 questions. And so you may want to ask, who else needs to be involved in this? Then the 11th question, and that's, again, when people aren't confident or they don't feel that they deserve it, or when you've picked up on a vibe of lack of self-love or low self-esteem, or when people doubt everything that they've done, or when they're in a very bad place, then there is another question, which is question 11, and that question is, are you able to do a financial decision by yourself? Now, it's a big question to ask. And I found myself asking that question sometimes, especially like in the financial services industry, because I wanted to make sure that people felt comfortable, right? And because we invest so much time and effort in the audition, in building the trust, in hitting all those trust points, as in we showed up in our post, we had a good interaction with them, and then we guided them to say yes to themselves, to turn up for a conversation with us in the audition. They've bared their souls to us in the first 15 minutes of the conversation. So it's quite important in the first 10 minutes. It's quite important to make sure that we continue on that path. So the question 10 and 11 that I'm offering you this morning are who else needs to be involved in this, and are you able to do a financial decision by yourself? Now, I'm going to give you an example of if they say that there's someone else that needs to be involved in this, then what I would recommend, and that comes from my time as a financial planner, right? So my mentor had always told me, if the couple is not sitting at the kitchen table, then you just book another appointment and you walk away and you just enjoy that hour and a half to yourself to catch up on emails or to read a book or something, but you don't do the interview, because if the two decision makers aren't at the table, then it's going to be, I don't know what you call it, but I think it's Chinese whispers. If you explain something to someone and they need to involve someone else in the decision, let's say, for example, you are a relationship coach and the couple needs to be coached. It might be important to bring the two together. Or if you are a leadership coach and someone wants to bring their business partner in the conversation, then I would really highly recommend that you schedule either another audition, or you do a second call with both people being present, and you make sure that you send some homework for both of them to do before they show up on the second call. So they've had a chance to have a conversation together. They've had a chance to discuss, where they're coming from, who's got what position on what. Or at least if they haven't had a chance to have the conversation because maybe communication is the issue, then they both show up knowing what the context of the conversation will be with you. Okay, so if you are considering working with either couples, teams of leaders, or friends, whichever involves two people or more, then I would highly recommend that you either conduct another audition with people when you feel that it would be, you're still not sure on the fit, or you conduct a joint second call, but you make sure that you send them some homework and you get everybody's email addresses, so you copy the parties involved in the conversation, you copy them individually. Now, when it comes to couples or even business partners, and I did that years ago with an accounting firm, the two main partners were really coming at a problem from such different angles. And they had two very, very different personalities. One guy was super pragmatic and I'd say quite healthy in his mindset, and the other guy had alcohol challenges and was living in a drama triangle, and so it made it really challenging to have conversations. Oh, good morning, Roxy, just saw you. Yeah, so it made it really, really challenging to have what I would call rational conversations, because the pragmatic guy was always factual, but the other guy was living in a different space, and so his take on things was quite different. And so I did conduct a number of joint conversations because I worked with them for a period of 4 months, if I remember correctly. And so I did a number of joint conversations, but I also did some individual sessions where I made sure that I heard them individually, because they confided in me. They told me things that they weren't comfortable sharing with the other person, not at that point. And then as we got talking, and because I was some sort of a buffer in between, then eventually the truth came up and we were able to put things on the table and find a resolution. So that's what I wanted to offer you this morning. I wanted to make sure that you were reminded of question 10 and 11, and that sometimes it is the best thing to bring another person in your audition or your second call, so that you have the best chance of serving the person who put their hand up to work with you, and also influencing in the most positive way people who are in their environment and might need some support as well. All right, guys, so it's been a pleasure to be with you. There are questions that are going to be appearing in the post about how much you've banked in the last 7 days and what your plan is for the next 7 days. As always, this is also your accountability post, so please make the most of it. I love you very much. Thank you for the opportunity to have a chat with you this morning. And I will see you tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. for the live session in which Alex Nish is going to be practicing her second goal. All right, so big hug, big kiss. I'll see you tomorrow.